Welcome to King 5. I'm Greg Copeland. This is The Week, a look at what made headlines in our region, along with your weekend forecast. The biggest story, of course, the Seahawks Super Bowl victory and parade that brought out record crowds to downtown Seattle. 12s traveled from across the state and beyond to take part in that celebration. Natalie Swaby spent that day with fans soaking in every moment of the parade.
Seattle transforms into a sea of blue and green.
I bleed blue and green.
In this moment,
The anticipation is definitely building.
Go Hawks, baby!
this is what champions create.
I'm excited! Go Spurs!
Victory ignites this celebration.
This atmosphere is crazy. Seattle Seahawks has caused a scene in Seattle.
And faithful 12s pack the streets.
Some of the best fans in the nation, if not the best fans in the nation. Appreciate y'all all year. Hey, we Super Bowl champs. Come on, baby.
We world champions. Go Seahawks.
Electric and roaring.
Yeah, let's go.
This is the atmosphere we live for, baby.
Yeah.
This is an all-day party.
A party that owns this city.
This is Wilson the 12th pony.
From decorated ponies to decked out people. It's a celebration. And shutting down traffic.
I can see it stretch all the way down like past Jackson.
It's why people are ditching the workday, and it's freeing some students from classrooms.
We caught the blue fever. We called in sick.
Everybody did, right? It's Wednesday. Nobody's supposed to be here.
Because in their view, today belongs to the Seahawks and their Super Bowl win.
I think the whole city of Seattle is proud right now.
You happy?
Hell yeah. That's good, bro.
It's good to see everybody come together and kind of celebrate one thing.
The 12s unite in one thunderous force, rooting on their champions who demolished the Patriots 29-13 on Sunday.
Sorry, Patriots. Maybe next year. I lied. Not even maybe next year.
They're at home crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but we win.
Here, the energy explodes and the volume erupts. This year's Super Bowl glory fuels raw gratitude.
Look at the crowd.
That's why fans flood these streets and rally on rooftops, delivering a play-by-play.
Coach of the year right there, baby. Mike McDonald. Let's do it.
Some rely on wheels,
Seattle, go!
racing to keep up, while others line the 2-mile route from Lumen Field to the Space Needle, united on one mission.
See a world championship right here in the city of Seattle. And it's just bringing the whole city together.
This is what binds a city.
It's all about the 12, baby.
Passion melts into pride.
Baby, let's go.
Champion shows Seattle what happens when you dream big, then dominate.
We see you, we hear you, we watched you, you came through, and you never let us down.
Man, what a celebration that was. To Olympia now, as lawmakers continue to power through a short session, and they have a lot to get through. Hundreds of people gathered in Olympia this week in support of a proposed millionaire's tax now under consideration by state lawmakers. Supporters rallied on the Capitol campus as the debate over new revenue options continues in the legislative session. King 5's Connor Board was there.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are calling this one the biggest bills they've considered in at least a decade. The Senate Ways and Means Committee moved the bill forward on Monday night, and the people who gathered here today at the Capitol support the plan.
2, 4, 6, 8.
It's a call for a more progressive tax system by union members and some state lawmakers.
How do we pay for our paramount duty? It is by fixing our regressive tax code.
The bill, dubbed the millionaire's tax, would create a 9.9% income tax on households that make more than $1 million per year. It would create $3.7 billion per year in revenue, money that retired teachers say is needed.
Come on, you need to pay up, and we need to get our kids educated, because how are they going to be the workers of the future if they're not? It's super important.
It would also reduce some taxes for small businesses, expand the working family's tax credit, and eliminate the sales tax on hygiene items, among other things.
We all are being hurt the same way. Progressive revenue is what Washington needs, and we all know this. Labor is behind progressive revenue. We know that people that are rich need to be paying their fair share.
Maybe the biggest bill of the decade.
Republican lawmakers met Tuesday. They share concerns that if this becomes law, it could pave the way
way for an expanded income tax in the future, affecting far more people. At a public hearing last week, opponents said the tax would harm businesses and lead to job losses.
While this proposal is framed as targeting high earners, we're concerned about the real-world impacts on small and medium-sized businesses organized like S-corps, LLCs, and other pass-through entities.
Just the past 2 weeks, I've heard from directly or listened or heard about over 50 couples who have already in the process of or soon to be changing their domicile out of this state.
Millionaires, pay your due!
But those in favor, including Democratic House Speaker Lori Jenkins, are hopeful it will pass.
We will be able to walk across the finish line, get this to the governor, and have the support of the people in Washington state.
The next hurdle for this bill will be a vote on the Senate floor. A spokesperson told King 5 that vote is not expected to happen this week. In Olympia, Connor Board, King 5 News.
Well, the state of Washington also took aim at big tech this week, with lawmakers accusing companies like TikTok and Snapchat of pushing addictive and potentially harmful algorithms on kids. King 5's Madeline Carter spoke to a local big tech insider who says companies are aware of the risks but putting profits over safety.
So it's got these baby pictures.
At home in Olympia.
Very embarrassing photos of myself.
Aaron Ping sifts through snapshots of his best friend.
We'd go mountain biking a lot together, hiking, traveling.
His son, Avery.
All these cute pictures of him and my niece, playing with wooden toys. And, it's not a screen-filled childhood.
But then, as a teen, Aaron says the apps on Avery's phone started consuming his life. Snapchat streaks, keeping up with every message, post, and story from friends. His dad says the more he scrolled, the more isolated he felt.
It's not really feel-good, happy content. A lot of it's pretty negative.
I don't know exactly how to put this into words, but
Aaron says anxiety and depression set in. Avery started searching for ways to feel better, and YouTube's algorithm began showing him videos about Molly, a drug some content creators claim can improve mental health. In December 2024, at just 16, Avery bought what he thought was Molly from a drug dealer on Snapchat. It wasn't. It was meth and fentanyl.
And this is, 2 months before he died, his soccer picture.
In the year since his overdose, Aaron says there's no doubt what caused his son's death.
Social media killed my son, and in a lot of ways took him away from me before he died.
Aaron believes Avery had become an addict.
It's more addictive than drugs.
And that companies that churn out social media content knew exactly how to prey upon his child.
There's predators lurking out there. There's algorithms that, are trained on compulsion and train teens to be more compulsive.
University of Washington researchers say tech companies' addictive algorithms are some of the most harmful features of social media. The programs learn what kids like and keep feeding them the content, on top of non-stop notifications.
We're so used to being bombarded with notifications on our smartphones, and Common Sense Media did the math. A 2023 study found teens received a median of 237 notifications per day. About 25% of those push notifications came during the school day, and 5% happened at night in the hours when teens were supposed to be sleeping.
And it can really have some dire consequences.
At the request of Attorney General Nick Brown, Washington lawmakers are taking on these companies. Lawmakers are introducing 2 bills this session titled Protecting Washington Children Online. If passed, they would ban addictive algorithms for users under 18 on social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Snapchat. They would also block push notifications for minors between midnight and 6 a.m. and during school hours.
And any violations of this law would violate the Consumer Protection Act, and we would enforce it through civil investigation and civil enforcement.
If it gives Washington State a window to hold tech platforms accountable when kids are showing signs of addiction, I hope that it just continues.
Similar laws in states like California, New York, Utah, and Maryland are fueling national debate. Tech insiders say executives who run these platforms know what they are doing to kids, but are making the choice to look away.
I was part of building a company and an industry that profits off of harm to kids.
Kelly Stonelake was an executive at Meta for nearly 15 years.
And in 2022, I was on the leadership team for a product called Horizon Worlds and saw firsthand the blatant disregard for kids' safety to the degree of, actively covering up known harms to kids. Meta definitely hopes you click into one and just start watching.
Stonelake says social media companies could turn off manipulative features at any time.
What they really mean by value is time and engagement.
It's as simple as flipping a switch, but most won't do it.
It is extraordinarily easy. The hard part for them is that it's going to impact their profit.
She believes the bills in Olympia could be the first step in putting kids' well-being ahead of billions in earnings.
We just have corporations exploiting children's, developing minds.
I think it's important to do something. I think it is definitely the first step.
To spare other families from the heartbreak Aaron lives with every day.
And I feel like I died with him that day.
Avery.
I don't want anyone else to have to experience this.
When we come back, a Valentine's Day surprise at Seattle Children's, a special delivery for young patients that brought a lot of smiles. First, though, meteorologist Adam Claiborne has a look at the weekend forecast. It's coming up right after this.
Okay, everyone, Valentine's Day this weekend, and we are in store for a generally dry couple of days. We're going to see maybe a few showers around early into Saturday, but I think the second half of the day Saturday, and then most of the day on Sunday, going to be dry for many of us. We are going to have the cool air around, though, so make sure if you're heading out with your special loved one to have something warm. Also, could be some more snow on the way for the mountains, too, finally, as we start to pick that up with more of an active pattern coming back around. Could be a few periods of sunshine out there. Looks like we are going to see this cooling trend for everyone, not just the mountains, and maybe even a few snowflakes possible across some of our foothill communities as we head later on into next week. Why so? Because we're expecting to see snow levels drop all the way down to possibly about 1,000 feet. So we're going to talk more about that here in a second. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Temperatures more so in the mid to upper 40s the next couple of days, and then low to mid 40s as we head on into next week. You can see the system moving through Friday and heading into Friday night, showing some of that shower activity over western Washington. That moves out of here, and again, just a few showers around for early into Saturday, and then things should start to dry out as we go throughout the remainder of the weekend. Let's time that out for you. You can see that moving off towards the east as we go throughout more Friday night. Into the day on Saturday, just a few of those showers still left behind. Some snow, too, across more of the North Cascades, so Baker could pick up just a bit more right there. And then really not seeing a whole lot of rain afterwards into Saturday evening. Here we are at 8 p.m. Again, if you have any plans, they should stay dry. We'll continue on throughout the rest of Saturday night into Sunday, noticing just clouds passing by, a few breaks in those clouds too, especially out towards the coast and farther to the north, and then we'll head on into next work week, and then you can start to see things coming back together and maybe becoming a bit more active at that point. Let's show you how all of that's going to come together, because this big area of low pressure that's off to the south really drives home a lot of moisture down across California. Some big snow totals too across the Sierra Nevada as you head down that way. For us, we'll get some snow up this way too for our mountains, but you can see some of that moisture will be heading back up our way, and that's going to help to reduce those chances of maybe seeing some snow in the foothills. Monday, I think we're just really too warm. We're going to see some rain around, and highs will be generally above freezing. We continue on into Tuesday. You can see those chances again. A lot of snow into the mountains, but not really seeing anything here in the lowlands. Maybe a snowflake or two trying to mix in, where you can see that little dot of pink or so here and there until Wednesday. Thursday, too, maybe the highest chance that we're going to see as that moves on by. But anything that we do see as we go later on into next week should be minimal as far as the lowland chances. Up and across the mountains, though, we'll get just a bit more, and that's going to be pretty beneficial, yet not bring us back up to where we should typically be for this time of the year. Expect about maybe a close to a foot of snow from here until the end of next work week by Friday. Forecasted highs as we head on into Saturday into the mid and upper 40s, a few 50s possible. We'll see those temperatures generally around more the low 40s, though, as we head on into next week. And we're expecting lows to be above that freezing point. So again, anything that we're expecting here in the lowlands shouldn't be an issue at all, as anything should melt. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Welcome back to the week. A wild pursuit in Thurston County made headlines this week after deputies say a woman who ran from police live streamed the entire chase on social media. Investigators say she reached speeds over 100 miles an hour before spike strips ended the pursuit and deputies made an arrest. King 5's Natalie Swaby reports.
In this high-speed pursuit, it turns out Thurston County deputies weren't the only ones hitting record. Alongside the law enforcement dash cam, there's this, a suspect's own live stream, rolling as she flies down I-5. That video now sits in an evidence locker.
The major concern for the state here is the danger to the community of fleeing at 112 miles an hour in a 70.
The driver, a 25-year-old woman from Olympia, hasn't faced formal charges yet.
There are allegations of a DUI, and those are the main safety concerns for the state.
The Thurston County Sheriff says it began around 9:15 Wednesday night, right outside their field operations building in Tumwater.
Oh, we're just chatting in our parking lot, getting ready to head out to work the road, and
Let's go!
heard a really shrill, blood-curdling scream come from a car.
Deputies say they sprinted to their patrol cars just in time to watch the driver blast through a stop sign.
And then nearly T-boned a vehicle that had the right-of-way. And then in blowing that stop sign, they were going too fast, so they went into the oncoming lane of southbound Center Street and almost went head-on with another car.
Probable cause documents paint a chaotic scene with the SUV weaving across lanes, straddling the center line, and passing traffic on both sides.
In the stream, I think at one point she's driving without hands, smiling, laughing, having a good old time. So definitely not a joke to us, especially at the beginning. I thought this was a lot more severe than what it ended up being, but nonetheless, still the reckless driving is a huge concern.
Near Grand Mound, a spike strip ended the chase.
Yes, sir!
The driver surrendered, and that's when deputies discovered she'd been live streaming.
This is someone who I am happy to get off the road. I think they probably need some help.
The sheriff says remarkably, no one got hurt last night. The suspect heads back to court on Wednesday. In the newsroom, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
Well, Highway 2 is now fully back open in the Cascades after flood damage shut it down for months. When the highway closed, tourists disappeared, cabins sat empty, and restaurant shifts were cut. Even animal rescue volunteers faced long, costly detours. And now with traffic flowing again, there's a sense of relief and renewed hope. Here's King 5's Alex McClune.
The staff at Lusky's Deli love and hate the sound of that bell.
Good news.
Connie Cunningham is back to work serving customers 4 days a week. It's been her routine the past 5 years.
Thank you.
Until business slowed to a trickle this past winter.
I took 2 weeks off so the other people could work.
When tourists couldn't get through, Lusky's cut workers' hours. Connie stepped back so her co-workers could cover their rent. The situation was nothing like she had experienced before.
Not with that flooding and everything and the power outages and the highway closing all at once. It was, kind of tough.
When the highway closed, so did the stream of tourists from the west side. Owners of these A-frame cabins say renters would normally be lining these driveways.
As soon as the storms came in, power went out, roads were washed out, we immediately started getting cancellations.
The connection is back after WashDOT spent weeks stabilizing slopes, clearing debris, and rebuilding washed out pavement. The highway also links volunteers like Sid, who's waiting for a special delivery.
You get special care.
From Okanagan County.
Look at that face.
Outside the deli, she's met animal rescue groups halfway to transport dogs and puppies to new homes in Stanwood.
The people from Okanagan County had to do that detour in order to get here to me.
With the help of repaved roads, a special delivery makes it here more quickly. 4 puppies now riding toward new homes. The connection is intact, and the bell at Lusky's is ringing more than before.
No more generators.
In Sky Coman, Alex McClune, King 5 News.
Well, those new weight loss drugs everybody is talking about continue to gain popularity across the country, but new statistics obtained by the King 5 investigators show there may be another side to the story, raising questions about cost, access, and long-term effects. Here's Chris Ingalls.
I hadn't even heard of this stuff. I'd heard the song, Ozempic, of course, catchy tune.
You're here for the struggle bus?
Once Lee Thomas of Issaquah did become familiar with what are called GLP-1 drugs and started using them,
A little bit vulnerable post because I don't think many people know this.
he rocketed to a sort of internet fame on his TikTok account.
Lee Thomas started taking Ozempic a year ago.
Soon, network news shows and even Oprah came calling to book him on her special about GLP-1s.
And he's noticed it has silenced what he calls the food noise in his brain. Lee, tell us what that means for you.
So they had seen my TikToks and invited me out.
He's a believer in the drugs, often known by brand names like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound, and has heard many success stories.
But sprinkled throughout those stories were stories of people who had a very bad reaction.
And if you did need to go into the hospital, how close are you to the nearest hospital?
And those are some of the growing numbers of people who are making frantic calls here.
If you guys need help with anything, call us back.
To the Washington Poison Center hotline in Seattle.
We're seeing a lot of the same thing, increase in the number of calls, which is often related to medication errors, unintentional overdose of it.
The chief clinical officer says his staff now fields dozens of GLP-1 related calls a month, most of them users who injected too much of the drug.
Essentially what happens is they get really short-term overdose and they will have really bad nausea and vomiting and inability to tolerate oral medication or oral anything, right? They can't take water, can't take juice, can't take food.
Records we requested from the Poison Center show 421 GLP-1 calls in 2025. That's double the number from a year earlier.
Oftentimes what happens with poison centers in this type of situation is you see a spike in the number of cases and then it drops. We have not seen that drop. We are just continuing to rise.
But if you get this wrong and you pull a little too much, now you're overdosing yourself.
Many of the medications come in vials with syringes, and you inject yourself at home. In effect, you are your own nurse.
This has got 10, 15, 20, right? They're different numberings and different systems.
Syringes may have varying measurements, and instructions may not be clear.
Having people do this at home is going to lead to errors. I'm an attorney, try to think of myself as pretty smart, and I had to do a lot of research and figure out how am I supposed to do this correctly without overdosing or underdosing myself.
I have been in the hospital now since January the 2nd due to GLP-1s.
Sean Rose, a small business owner outside Chicago, put his experience on social media.
Hey guys, so wanted to give you guys an update on my GLP-1 saga. And I've been throwing up in our bucket here. And I kid you not, I was so sick that I thought I was dying.
How many times did you end up going to the hospital?
4 times in total. Admitted twice, released through the ER twice.
At its worst, how serious was this?
At one point, they told me if I wouldn't have came in, if I wouldn't have came in when I did, I would have probably died.
Sean Rose insists he took the proper dosage. Regulators in the state of Illinois are now investigating whether the drug he received was tainted or if he experienced an unusually bad reaction.
I've never really seen people really talking about the negative side effects.
The Washington Poison Center says few of its callers require a hospital visit.
Every case is going to be different. You don't need to run off to the ER. If somebody's awake, alert, able to talk, give us a call. We're here 24/7, 800-222-1222. We're always willing to answer your question.
People want to get on them, which I get, but I just want people to do it safely, right? I don't want people feeling like they want to get these meds and then rush into it.
Finally, in a heartwarming moment this week, Valentine's Day deliveries at Seattle Children's came with a little extra wag. As King 5's Bridget Chavez shows us, dogs hand-delivered cards to patients inside Seattle Children's Hospital, bringing smiles and some much-needed comfort.
We have a special delivery for you.
Love you. Valentine's.
Let's go say hi.
Can they jump up with you?
Yeah.
For kids spending Valentine's Day inside a hospital room,
Oh, hi.
I think that they have a very slobbery Valentine for you.
one visit can change everything.
Hey, can I have this, please?
Oliver would rather be at his school Valentine's party. Instead, he's here.
Because it's always a fun because you get candy at it. And I never got candy this year because I'm going to have to stay at the hospital.
Nash and Scarlett are making the rounds at Seattle Children's Hospital.
Go on in.
Next stop, 7-month-old Deacon.
Is that a Valentine's card for us?
Can you give?
Oh,
Thank you, Scarlett. That's a good girl. Yes. Says you are so loved. Love, Scarlett. She forgot to sign it.
Officially, they're facility dogs. Unlike therapy dogs, they're part of the hospital team.
Sometimes they help make patient beds, or they are opening doors for patients.
They were trained through Canine Companions, a national nonprofit that provides service dogs free of charge.
They look kind of silly when they first came in.
Give? Oh, thank you. All right, this one says, Happy Valentine's Day. This one says, You're one in a melon. And that's really the point of this, is for kids here, these days can be really tough. So even just little reminders like this from cuties like these guys can mean so much.
They're really funny and weird cards.
For families navigating long days here,
high five.
Those smiles
Try again.
and laughs
Yeah.
warm the heart.
Just kind of helps the spirit a lot, kind of breaks up the day a little bit, and just has some loving energy. Just petting those dogs, seeing Oliver have a big smile on his face.
This is your first Valentine's Day.
Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
And we want to thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed a look at the biggest stories of the week.